Let's check the live tab. Okay, just doing a sound check. Okay, I've got sound. We'll give it a few minutes for people to come in. Well, me, myself, and I, and 2 other people. Let's give it a few minutes. Feel free to type your name in the chat. Oh, hey, Brian. Welcome in. I'm not going to be on long because I'm still, like, really kind of not well. I'm just waiting a few minutes to let people come in so I don't have to, like, repeat everything twice. So you can stay live or you can always, watch it on the playback and just fast forward through the first couple of minutes. It can take anywhere from like 2 to 5 minutes to bring people in. Say hello to Brenda. You can tell her I've taken all of her medical advice, but I'm still waiting to hear from the cardiologist. It's very hard to reach a doctor in a big city. Hi, Lee Duarte. Welcome in. I haven't seen you before. I hope you're subscribed. I'm just waiting for a few people to come in. I want to give an update on the Nancy Guthrie situation. Let's just let a few more people come in. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I said last night was going to be short, and it was like a 2-hour live, and I can't do that. I'm like super weak today, and still having massive headaches here. And hey, we got 11 people in here now. Everybody, shoot me a thumbs up here. Let me check the subscriber count because I think I actually lost one today, but that happens. You gain a few, you lose one or two. Okay, I'm up to 1949. Wow, I have 51 more subs to go, and I'll be at the 2K mark for subscribers. That's amazing. I never thought I would do that. I also let's see, I texted my mod to let her know. Yeah, especially in LA, especially an electrophysiologist, cardiologist. I actually have a couple. I'm just looking down at the iPad because one of my main mods, she doesn't always read her text. So, but people have lives, so and she'll be like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Yeah, okay, let me just get into this. It looks like it's going to be a small show today. It's going to be a short show. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm here live in Los Angeles, California, and I'm trying to do daily updates on Nancy Guthrie, on the missing person case in Tucson, Arizona. As everybody probably knows by now, she was or is the 84-year-old mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. And there's some more things have come out today on this. Wow, 13 people. Thumbs up, everybody. Or you can double tap the screen and hit the hearts, but both would help. The more people that double tap or hit that thumbs up button, the more people YouTube will bring in because they will see engagement. And I really need that right now because I'm trying to get back up to my 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days. So let's get back to Nancy Guthrie. Very big development today. Huge development. Worth going on the air for. That glove that was found about 2 miles away along the side of the road in her neighborhood. Hey, Brenda. That glove, the the DNA actually hit in the CODIS system. And for those of you that don't know, CODIS is the Combined DNA Index System, also known as CODIS. They actually got a hit on that glove, but it turned out it belonged to a restaurant worker at an unnamed restaurant across the street. They wouldn't give the name of the restaurant. They didn't give the ID of the suspect. Well, he's not even a suspect. They just, some restaurant worker's glove was on the side of the road. I didn't think that glove was related. I really don't think somebody would pull off a job like that and then drive 2 miles down the road, toss a glove out the window. And that's just one of at least 16 gloves that have been recovered in this case. Plus, I'm sure that the DNA on that glove didn't match the DNA that's been recovered so far at the Guthrie estate. So I didn't think that that would have anything to do with it, and it didn't. That's been ruled out. So let's just put the gloves aside for now. There are more gloves as evidence that are still at the lab in Florida. Remember, those gloves should have been sent to the FBI. They have their lab in Quantico, Virginia, but no, Pima County, they have some sort of contract or agreement with the lab in Florida. Now, speaking of the sheriff's department, by the time they got out to the house on Sunday afternoon, they only secured that house for 20 hours. Then by the second or third day, the FBI got involved, and they came and secured the house briefly after they did their inspection. But then they realized later that they needed to go remove a few items from her garage and they needed to take her car. So they secured it again. And then later in the week, more agents came out to investigate the septic tank and also, on a separate day, came out to inspect another camera that was on the roof spotted by a neighbor that the police didn't know about. Okay? So that makes at least 5 visits within the first week or so to that house. And every visit, the crime scene had already been unsecured by Sheriff Nanos. Yeah, Chris Nanos, also known as Bananos. I hate to come down on him. I don't want to be disrespectful here, but that, even if we or they catch somebody for this, it's going to be very hard to prosecute unless they have really good evidence, because any good defense attorney is going to tear that apart, that house was just trampled on. I mean, I saw everything from pizza guys to Amazon dropping packages where the blood-soaked patio was, where the droplets were actually. It wasn't soaked. It was just droplets. Looked like they went straight down. I think she was probably carried. Amazon, pizza guys, UPS, the mail carriers, all the internet sleuths and YouTubers that were out there. Half of Tucson trampled across the scene of the crime. And then they would go back and re-secure it after it's already been compromised. Why don't they get a psychic? Maybe they have. I've gone down the psychic rabbit hole, and they all have different things to say. Now, in my own mind, I thought maybe she was in water, but I'm not a professional psychic. And once again, I'm sorry, this is going to have to be short today because I'm still, very not well. There's something I want to talk about, too. And this is really important. Although the police are saying they're dismissing it, there is a back exit to that neighborhood in the Catalina foothills that's about 2.5 miles away. There was a neighbor, not exactly a close neighbor, but a 2.5 mile away neighbor that had a ring cam that caught 12 vehicles between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. on February 1st. And at 2:36 a.m., there's a speeding car that goes by that's white. Looks like a white Kia. Can't be for sure, but I think it's a white Kia. That's the most likely scenario. Now, it turns out that it would take approximately 7 minutes to drive to that location. Hey, 25 people watching, only 2 thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up. Let's get it at least halfway there. My gosh. It's a 7-minute drive if you're driving normally. You could get to that spot a lot faster if you're driving like a bat out of hell, so to speak. which that car was. I'm sure there's stop signs along the way, but there's hardly anybody out at 2 a.m. Now at 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker stopped syncing with the Apple Watch, and that Apple Watch was white, and it was left on the bedstand next to her bed. It was believed and even confirmed by Savannah that she was taken out of her bed in the middle of the night. So considering that the pacemaker stopped syncing at 2:28, that was probably around the moment that she was taken out of the house. And by the way, I think that they came in the back. One person came in the back. Ski mask guy was at the front to remove the camera. Then they brought her out the front. And when I say they, it's because ski mask guy, I should say the balaclava guy, masked man, looks like a bank robber mask to me, but that's just because of my career as a detective. The guy had a star on his upper left shoulder jacket area right here underneath the strap from the backpack. And if you look at the right pocket, you clearly see a walkie-talkie antenna sticking out of the pocket. And it kind of looks like a walkie-talkie in there. So I think there was at least 2 at the house. They may not be the ringleaders of this crime, but somebody went speeding down the street at a back end that would be less likely to catch a car, with an intersection cam or an LPR, license plate reader, for those of you who are not familiar with that. And yes, I do have access to that system. But the pacemaker disconnected 2:28. She's probably walked or carried out of the house quickly, and the car goes speeding by at 2:36. Coincidental? Maybe. Hey, Rita. Oh, hey, Kelly. Thanks for coming in. I need a mod. Not yet. Everybody's been really good, but it's been a crazy last couple of nights, especially with me still sick, and we got to make sure that if Pink comes in tonight, if they say one thing, they're getting another timeout. Anyway, so I talked about the DNA that they got a CODIS hit on for the glove that was 2 miles away was a restaurant worker that's not connected to the case in any way, according to Pima County. We talked about the FBI. There was a female FBI agent. She may be retired, former, not sure, but she has the same problem I have with the fact that the house was unsecured too quickly. And that's on Nanos. That's not on the FBI. That's on Nanos. Should have been secure. The media shouldn't have been allowed in. The streets should have been blocked off. This is like, what's the guy's name? Barney Fife from Mayberry. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not even law enforcement, and I would have had that place secured. I would have had it locked down immediately. I mean, they found evidence that indicated a possible homicide. Why was that house unlocked? Ooh. It's almost like the sheriff is intentionally compromising this. And there's people pointing the finger at him. I'm not pointing the finger at him, but it makes you wonder after a while. Like, they're doing everything the opposite of how they're supposed to do it. Who's influencing them? Who are they covering for? Actually, no. This morning I was the worst I have been, but I did get my butt in the car, and I used my LADWP rebate. And I know this is going to sound hokey, but my coupons, my CVS rewards, and my digital coupons, and I put it all together, and I actually was able to go out and buy some cosmetics. Still cost me almost $30, but I saved $68 today. That's pretty good. I think the haul was maybe 25, 26, but I saved 68. Now, of course, the prices were probably double Amazon, but I was able to use all things, and I did a jackpot grab. So you guys probably don't care, but it made me happy. Yeah. Now tonight I can, actually wash my face and put my night serum on. Thank God. Now I just need to, get a few more coupons and go back and get the day moisturizer with the SPF. So The makeup I have in my bathroom, like the foundation, I think I actually bought that prior to my cancer diagnosis. So I got to clean all that out as soon as I feel better, and just, I'm not a hoarder, but I have a lot of old makeup that I have to throw away. So we got some more, some more foundation, some more eyeshadow, but with my eye surgeries, the 4 eye surgeries, I can't see my eyes anymore. I've also got some replacement readers coming from Amazon sometime between 5 and 10, because this is just a junk pair. This is useless. So I had to be really careful. Didn't put much on my eyes yet because I can't see them now that I can see at 40,000 feet. So I did that today. Now there's 25 people watching and I only have 4 thumbs up. What's going on, people? No, not purple. It might look purple on screen, but no. I bought some more nail polish, but it's a little too bright for me, but it was free, because after I paid for everything, they gave me more coupons at the register, and I went back and grabbed more stuff. So some nail polish and a little blush, but I don't have that on yet. So we talked about the ring cam that was 2.5 miles away. We talked about the DNA hit on CODIS with the restaurant worker, the guy at the door that was wearing the balaclava. We're going to properly name it now. He does have the star on the upper left lapel and the walkie-talkie antenna. There's one other thing. I wanted to talk about the holster, even though it appears that he has a gun that doesn't match the holster. Besides being a gun and a possible, I think if it is a gun, it's a semi-automatic. It could even be a Glock. However, there are also taser guns that look very similar to a Glock 9, meaning 9mm, like the Glock 17, the Glock 19 models. I don't know the more recent models. I only know the older models that I worked with when I was doing like armed work in my job. So that could be a taser. Just saying. I'd actually prefer for it to be a gun, because we know that she wasn't shot in the house. There's not a bloodbath. There's just droplets. But it would be really awful if that was actually a taser, because that hurts so bad. I've had suspects that have been killed before, not by me, but by police officers on cases that I've worked where people have been killed with those. Michael, it looks like an ICBM. Okay. It looks like a missile? Is that what you're saying? Oh, Brian says Brenda's a couponer too. Well, she's a smart girl. Cray Cray, I missed you, Cray Cray. I'm sorry. What kind of cancer did you have? I had lung cancer, but it was little. I had stage 3, grade 3 breast cancer, 2019, 2020, and a laundry list of side effects since then. Let's see. I don't think she was killed by a taser. I'm just saying that the weapon that it was believed to be a gun in the non-matching holster, it could actually be a taser. There are tasers that do look like a Glock semi-automatic, like a Glock 9. Glock meaning 9mm, not model, but millimeter. Looks very similar to a Glock. So it's either a gun or it's a taser. But, I guess if the police maybe they haven't thought of that yet. I don't know. I'm just so upset with the way this case has been handled. You have to find somebody like that within 24 to 48 hours, and she could have been already in a fatal situation in under 24 hours without her meds. So it's inexcusable, the sloppiness. I'm not even a cop, but I've done probably at least 1,000 death cases, if not more, dozens of homicides. I've solved homicides in Los Angeles County that the police have not even been able to solve who did it. Or I've worked, we've worked in conjunction where I'm working the private case and they're working the law enforcement case. Hello, Brahim. Welcome back. Only 6 thumbs up, 28 people watching. And let me just do a check on the channel dashboard. I am at, wow, 1952. That means the little YouTube ticker should be going off soon. It'll make that little bicycle ding. So I've got 48 subscribers more to go to hit 2K. And I'm still not monetized because, well, I was for 2 months and then it all went to crap. And you know, when they took it down, they held my funds. So if I can get it back, I'll probably have some back funds that'll be sitting there. But then I'll have to start all over again to build hours and views up in order to ever get that, because they only will cut a check or deposit a digital payment for every $100, and that takes a long time when you know you're not a big YouTuber with millions of views. So let's get that 1952 up. Let's get the thumbs up. Let's go. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. Make sure when you hit the bell icon, you click all if you want to receive the notifications. Sometimes you won't receive them. That's got nothing to do with me. That's on the YouTube end. It's just the numbers, the hours, the viewer count, everything is off with YouTube. But people get unsubscribed. They don't know they've been unsubscribed. Their bell gets unclicked. So if you ever have problems, just unclick your bell and re-click the bell. Nunzi, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Yeah. Wesley. Oh, Brazil. Welcome in, Brazil. Wow, we're getting all over the world lately. We've had the UK, we've had Ireland, Canada, my favorite Canada. We've had Australia, New Zealand, India, and now we can add Brazil. Thank you so much. I think you've been in here before, Wesley. There's your the Brazilian flag. Wow. Yeah, I know a couple people here in LA from Brazil. Wonderful people. Kelly, yeah, I've never received notice except for you directly. Make sure that your bell is clicked and you click all. We can test it. Okay, 19 people watching, 8 thumbs up. So I don't have a lot of new things to report. It is day 32, but I just wanted to say that, you know, even though the police say they're excluded, I don't think that the white car that's speeding through at 2:36 a.m., which happened literally 8 minutes after the pacemaker disconnected, or not disconnected, but stopped syncing. That's a little too coincidental with the timing. Consider if you're not speeding, it's a 7-minute drive from Nancy's to that spot. And the timing is just, it's too coincidental. And as a PI, you learn not to believe in coincidences anymore, because out in the field, there are no coincidences. It all means something. Kelly, that's good. Also, the FBI agent that I watched last night, and she has the exact same problems with I have with the timeline and how Pima, you know, unsecured that scene in 20 hours from the time they got there. It was sometime Monday that they unsecured it. She said something that I totally agree with, that if you look at the guy at the front door, who may or may not be the same guy that you see from another day, where he doesn't have the weapon and he doesn't have the backpack, we still don't know if that's the first guy, the second guy, 2 different guys, same guy. We don't know that. And we know that the FBI is interested in the date January 11th, but we don't know why. I kind of think it's the same guy, but then sometimes I think it's not. But then I go, no, I think it's the same guy based on the legs. But look at the guy with the balaclava. Look at his mannerisms. Look at his body structure. Look at his eyes, his lips. I know half of Tucson has got the beard or the goatee and the mustache. But if you know this person, if that's your significant other or your father or your brother or your uncle or your cousin, your coworker, you're going to recognize that guy. Even if it's just the clothes or the way he walks or something about the hands, you're gonna recognize those gloves. You're gonna recognize that guy. And for someone who, you know, thinks they may recognize that guy, drop a tip to the tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. You know, I would love to be able to know who it is and call that tip in, and, you know, have Savannah Guthrie hand me $1 million in cash. You know? But, you know, I'm not working this case, so you know, all I could do is you know, as a detective, is is work the case, but I'm not even licensed in Arizona anymore. I mean, she could always call and consult with me, but I don't know anything about the case. It's in the hands of the police and the FBI. But you know what? Somebody is going to be in for a really big reward, or at least a part of the reward. If this case is solved, if this person, either living or deceased, is found, if you think you know this guy, and I'm putting it, I wanted to say a word that I can't say here on YouTube Live. Drop a dime, make a call, do the right thing, because the truth will come out. The person is going to get caught, or the people involved are going to get caught. The ringleader's going to get caught, because as soon as they get the first guy, that guy's going to roll on the second guy, who's going to roll on the ringleader. Trust me, it'll be like you're getting the death penalty, or you can spend your life in prison. What do you want? What do you know? And they'll all sing like birds. So, but somebody needs to be the one person that calls in that first tip, the big one that's going to lead to the actual guy. I mean, that's how they caught Koberger. It was from a tip. Jay, 20 hours to secure a scene. Yeah. Oh my God, what a joke. What a joke. And then the FBI comes and they get involved, and they have to look at a scene that's already been open to the public. And they've let all the press park across the street, and they're going up and down the driveway, up and down the lawn. Well, there's not really any lawn. There's just, it's a desert. It's dirt and rock. They're stepping on the blood. The Amazon guy is stepping on the blood. The pizza guys, the mail delivery guys touching the mailbox, and they need to secure all the mail, just like they secured the mail at Annie's place. Why aren't they securing the damn mail at Nancy's place, where the crime actually happened? Oh my God. And you know what? That some of the people that I've been listening to that have very good sources, and I won't mention names, they still don't believe that anybody's been eliminated. And I don't either. Just saying. Kelly says, oh my God. To what? Different shoes? Yeah, they were wearing different shoes, the two guys at the door, whether it's the same guy or I don't think it's the same night, but we have no way to know because there's no timestamp. Because remember, somebody whose daughter was making $8 million a year at least, not including her husband's income, wasn't paying for Mama's subscription to her Nest doorbell. And you know who's going to be Google? They should get part of the reward when somebody's able to ID this guy. That sounds like my Amazon delivery. The fact that they were able to retrieve that Nest image, they deserve part of that reward if somebody's caught through that. And we still can't give up on Walmart. They still might be able to identify who bought that backpack. But on the other hand, the backpack could have been borrowed or secured from a secondhand store or a garage sale. But taking the list of 40 names to the gun store where they're trying to ID the holster, that hasn't worked. That has been unfruitful. So maybe Walmart, maybe Walmart and Google together will be able to solve this case. Maybe they'll get something on one of the LPRs. Yeah, but that mask, that balaclava or balaclava he was wearing, it is available at Walmart in Arizona, but only through online order. You cannot walk into a Walmart and buy that. There would be no reason to stock that in Tucson. You're not near any like ski lodges or anything like that. Oh, and some of the other experts I was listening to late last night, they agree with me that the cartel is probably not involved in this at all. I mean, anything is possible at this juncture, but they wouldn't come up from Mexico, have to stop at the border, then go get an 84-year-old woman who they're not going to keep alive. They would keep her alive, and then they would have to get the ransom somehow, even if it was digitally, and then she'd have to be returned. And I mean, it would be easier to get her into Mexico than it would be to get her out of Mexico unless they just dropped her off. But those guys are serious. They're like businessmen. Everything would be done like, okay, here's the deal. This is who we are. This is how much we want. This is how we want it. And they would show proof of life, and she would be dropped off or returned. And that's not going to happen between borders. This cartel story is it's absolute garbage. Anything is possible, but we still go with what I said from the beginning, somebody targeting Savannah or somebody close to her that wanted her not kidnapped, but wanted her dead. So it's revenge or money. Oh, exactly. No cartel, these Phoebes. These Phoebes? We're too disorganized, yeah. And these ransom notes, I don't take them serious at all. Oh, there goes the ding ding. Where are we now? Let's see. We're up to 1953. Wow. 60. No, it was less than that. 47 more to go. See, with my headache, I can't do any math. J, yes, very long time. I called my mom 1 to 2 times a day. If I did not talk to her or a friend of hers about her location within a couple hours, cops would be called. Yeah. And supposedly Tommaso and Annie did get their car back this week, but I don't have any official confirmation of that. Funny, Luke Daly got his car back like pretty soon after the Range Rover was towed from Culver's. I'm about to get that 2K. That would be nice, but what's more important? We've talked about this before, is I have to get my watch hours back, because when I was serving my 90-day suspension, they wouldn't tell me what video that they had a problem with, even though my videos passed all the security checks. And I thought I did everything right, but apparently I didn't. I got so mad that I'm like, well, maybe it's this one, maybe it's this one. And I just went delete, 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 and I should have just privatized them. But see, I'm a rookie, I'm a newbie, and it was the middle of the night, and I just, my Irish temper kicked in, and I was just like, delete, 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 delete. And then it was like, okay, in 90 days you reapply, but you still need your 1,000 subscribers, which that wasn't an issue, and your 4,000 watch hours in 365 days. And I was like, oh my God, there went my watch hours. Because my views were getting pretty high with I had done some really good videos right before that happened. And they were really starting, that's the first time my YouTube channel was starting to pick up traction. And I was like, oh, wow, this could actually work. And then it all went to hell in a handbag. So, yeah, I'm not doing this for the money. In fact, I could get monetized next week and get checks for the next 5 years, and I still probably wouldn't make up for what I've spent on this. This is a labor of love. There's no income from this. There's just a lot of cost at this point. And I don't have a niche channel, so I'll never, be like 1 million subscribers, or I'm not just a true crime channel or whatever I have in my playlist. This is just about my life during my survival period. But I appreciate you saying that, Kelly. I do want to call you out, and Leanne Navarez, Donna McCoy, and one of my other mods, Hearts of Gold Prospecting. You guys, all 4 of you, have been binge watching the videos day and night. Thank you so much. Yes, Jay, I imagine if I was told my mother went missing, I would call the police on the way to the scene. Absolutely. And if you went there and you saw blood all over the front door, remember there's 2 separate timelines as to when they were called, when they actually arrived, and how long it took for them to call the police. So I can't really judge anybody not knowing what the exact timeline was. But some people wouldn't even have walked in that door seeing what was outside that house. Like, oh my God. I probably would have run in though, because I would be like, oh my God, like, I'm used to doing that. Like, sometimes you take a risk, if it's somebody you care about, you're going to take that risk and run in the door when maybe you shouldn't. But yeah, I would call the cops immediately. $1 times 2? what is what does that mean? Times 2. But thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Hearts. I know she's not in here right now. Hearts of Gold. And thank you, Leanne, in case you're watching this on the replay, Leanne Navarez. And Leanne, I still need to know where you're sending some of those messages, because if you're commenting on the videos, I can obviously see that. Or if you're commenting on the chat, I can see it while the chat is running, or 24 to 48 hours later when YouTube processes it and they re-upload the chat part. But I'm getting some messages that are under post and they're not showing up in my community tab. And there's no way for me to answer them, respond to them. I don't know where they're coming from. It's just showing me on the back end, which is my channel dashboard, saying comments, and it'll have a little post next. It'll say the word post. And I'm like, then I'll go check my community tab and I'll go through all my postings and I'm not seeing them. So if I'm not responding to those, it's because I don't know where are you sending those messages to? Because I can only see them on the back end, but I can't see them connected to any video. I saw one from you, Kelly, too, the other day, and I was like, how did you do that? Like, where did that, how am I getting these secret messages that are, it's not coming through IM, it's not coming through Gmail. I have no idea. And I've asked all kinds of people, and they're like, oh, well, you need to make sure that your chat is on live chat rather than top chat. I know that. It's not during the chat. These are messages that are coming in from somewhere else. You did another this morning? Huh, I'll have to check. No, I wasn't going to mention you by name. I'll have to look. Of course, I could have been in bed. You're a noob too. I'm still a noob. I'll have to check, but thank you. I'll print it out. I'll add it to the stack. That'll put the donations at 2 now that you've revealed yourself. And there's a few more emails that came in last night from KCV. I'll have to print those out. A lot of people sending me tips telling me to, call the FBI, and I'm not working this case. Just transfer it directly to the bank. I'll check it out as soon as I get off the air. I think it's got to come through the app first, I guess, and then I have to transfer it like a Venmo or something. But it's not like a Zelle where it just goes into the bank. Pretty sure. I'll have to check. I don't use Cash App very often. Most of the businesses do like Venmo and Zelle, but thank you. Comes through pretty immediately. Yeah, I have no notice of that. But I'll open the app later. I can't do it now because it's on my device that I'm recording with. Hey, 23 people watching, 9 thumbs up. Let's keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Not worth my time. No. Hey, now that fund is up to 2 instead of 1, that could actually buy me a California lottery ticket. Before I was just like, $1. I'll throw that into the pharmacy fund. Yeah, and the doctor's going to hear from me because one of these drugs that other doctors say I don't need is really causing me to be very sick. And I went to pay it yesterday, and they're like, no, we're a month behind on everything because Medicare changed the Part D again. They change it every year. And they're like, that's going to be next month's bill. And it's almost $700. And it usually comes mid-month, like it's due mid-month. So I just paid the one for March. And it wasn't very much because I had most of my prescriptions filled at the end of last year since I was already covered on the deductible. But now it went up to $2,100 plus expenses. So, and cash out of pocket doesn't go towards that. So I'm like, oh, F you, MD, Medicare Part D, because now, my birthday that's coming and I'd like to actually be able to buy something, I'll have to pay that $700 off because I'll still have another $1,400 worth of pharmacy bills coming. Next time I have to get an Eliquis prescription, I'll be done. I'll meet my, but I'll be paying it off, through the rest of the year. And I don't know if they take it out of the Social Security like they do your Medicare, like if you don't pay it off by the end of the year. I haven't got to that point yet. So we'll find out. No, the bone med? No. It's one of the heart meds. Gumball machine. What about a gumball machine? I actually have an old one. I sold my good one. Now it's, seller's remorse. I had a vintage one that I sold, and now it's like, oh, I sold my gumball machine. Uh, no, I don't think the bone med is too much with the deductibles. I hate it. I next Me and the oncologist, we have to have a serious conversation. I may have to do some kind of immunotherapy, or I said I'm not going into any kind of like chemo for that. I'm just not going to do it. Oh, use it for the dollar? Hey, Mary Crunch. Okay, Maud, I need you to place somebody in a 24-hour timeout. Can you do that? If you don't know how to do it, I'll do it. Let me know. I'm taking care of it. See you, Mint Berry. Let's see. Oh, you did it too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, we both timed her out. Or him. I don't know. Thank you. And we both did it for the 86K seconds. Perfect. Perfect. See, you're getting it, Kelly. You missed some real dingers or zingers last night before you came in. Like, oh my God. And then I had to ask the viewers, like, you know what? I'm losing track, you know, because, I'm beautiful. I had a marriage proposal from Ireland. I'm ugly. Um, the triple chin one, which I corrected them about. No, it's not a triple chin. It's a turkey neck. But the yellow teeth person came in again. And then one of my regular viewers reminded me, like, oh, remember you were a witch too. I was like, yeah, my magic powers, because I'm a witch. I guess that's why Halloween is my favorite holiday. Uh, Pink is an idiot. It's funny, actually. Once this is that's why we can't delete any of these jokers, because once the monetization comes in, I want those people to keep coming back. I want the views. I want the clicks. I want the gumball machine money. Every penny counts. And when you're in my situation, so like, I can go back to CVS and add a few little items to my haul. If Pink keeps coming back. Um, yeah, I tried that, Ruth. I do the generic. And the discount cards, they don't apply to the insurance. So last year when they changed the whole system, because every time I get an extra 20 cents in January, they're like, oh, you don't qualify for this anymore. Now we're taking this. Now we're taking that. And so I paid for a few out of my pocket in cash to get it down as much as I could. They're like, oh, we have a coupon we can just hand you. And then guess what? It didn't apply to my deductible. So it didn't apply to my yearly out of pocket. So I actually had to pay the 2,000 plus the ones that I, used the coupons for. That was dumb. And I realized that after I did it, like, you know what? I think I just screwed myself here. And I'm going to go over. Yeah, if you got to use the plan, or that stuff doesn't work. They won't put those together. Yeah, but when you get meds that are like $2,000 for a 90-day supply, it doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, my cardiologist said you're on $20,000 to $30,000 worth of drugs a year. So I'm not even worried about the future, because if I'm really on that many drugs, I probably don't have much time left. So I'm just worried about the present and not the future. You're in Canada? Or are you asking me if I'm in Canada? No, I'm in the United States. Oh, hey, Robert Reed. I remember you from Iran. I hope you are safe considering what's going on. But remember, we can't get political here on this. Oh, bye from Canada. Yeah, I'm a little far from Canada. But I'll have to look into that. Thank you for the suggestion. Like I said, if my dad had only moved there 10 years sooner, then I'd have my dual citizenship and I could have actually lived there a while. I could just, pack it up for Vancouver right now and just walk away from all this. Um, oh, okay. Robert Reed from Brady Bunch. Um, that Robert is passed. And speaking of the Brady Bunch, I got a couple of videos on that. That's my last home that I actually owned was in that neighborhood, and I still live close to there now. And one of my actor friends lives like about 4 houses down, so I'm there quite a bit. I've lived next to that one, two, three, 4, 5 places, and now I'm only a mile away. I get there a lot. 300 a year instead of 1K. Wow. Yeah, we're just. Are you in the United States, Ruth? Because our medical system is just completely not right. Uh, So let's get back to Nancy. Um, does anybody want to comment on anything that we've already gone over today, or have you guys heard something? I did find out the guy that showed up supposedly intoxicated the other day, that his name is James, and he was the one that was referring to a man that had the same name as the Prime Minister of New Zealand from 1968 or something. I don't even remember. Um, Apparently he wasn't detained, so that's a correction. He got in a car with somebody and drove away. He Ubered or something, and but they later did catch up to him. Um, is he the one that ran over the flowers? See, the flowers were discovered run over the next morning. So, well, I gotta move so you can see the real Kelsa. Oh, you can see Sparta too. Yeah, Sparta's from California and then moved to Eagle River, Alaska, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. People think that's my cat, and it's like, no, that's not my cat. That's Corey's cat. Yeah, I'd like to. According to the YouTubers that are out there on foot, the ones that are still there, they think somebody ran over. They don't know if it was accidentally or on purpose, because the whole thing wasn't like destroyed, but it looked like a tire may have gone off the road. So I don't think it was the guy that was later detained, but I don't know. I wasn't there. It happened in the middle of the night. Oh, I have a few of those. They're called Hans, hen on nest. Yeah, I've got one that's uranium glass. It's awesome. It's worth quite a bit. The one that's the uranium. It's hard to find the uranium one that glows. And I've got some mini ones too. I got a lot, but I need to liquidate some of this glass. But with glass, you've got to have heavy boxes, packing paper, and very expensive bubble wrap. And with the shipping costs, it's gone up like 3 times last year. A lot of people aren't buying the glass, through eBay or Poshmark or Mercari anymore. So I might have to dump some of it locally, and not willing to do it yet. Oh yeah, I got a whole shelf of uranium ones. I just don't have any more room. But I do have the uranium hen on the nest. Well, uranium Han, which is basically a glass chicken. Oh yeah, I wish I knew more about. Oh, you're on Medicare, Ruth? Yeah, I'm on Medicare, but I'm on it early. I'm not old enough to be on Medicare, but I have it early because of disability. I keep you in mind for that. Okay. Hey, remember, Kelly, I still offered to make a trade, or not a trade, but I offered, just in case, you need the funds or something. I might be able to scrape up $140 for the gold at, in case, I still got the nail up on the wall to hang it in the living room. I haven't taken the nail down yet. uh, Jay says, my uncle and me too. We could trade the necklace for uranium. Oh no, I can't give up the uranium. Oh my God, I will think about. But let me think. Let's see. Oh, that's one of my best pieces. And my rabbit, she's obsessed with the uranium. And in the middle of the night, her and the cat chase each other, and she jumps on the lower shelf, and I can hear my uranium glass being tipped over. And one of the pieces broke with Alfie, and I screamed, and he freaked out, like, because I was like, "Oh my God, we're nuclear now!" And I get scanned almost every week now, so I'm not worried about being nuked from the glass, but I don't want my pets to get into it. Um, Boy, that's a tough one. I'll have to think about that. But no, I just would refund whatever you paid for it. But you'd have to ship it back. And it wouldn't be that hard to ship because it's not like you're shipping glass. And it's not that big. It's not that heavy. We'll talk. Right now you're dealing with a broken leg. So so has anybody heard anything today? Or has anybody checked in with what is it, Tucson? What is it? 847, 857, whatever. What is it? The guy that works there with JLR, but he's separate, but yet they're always are those guys even there today? Is there anybody there? Is Brian Enton still there? I guess JLR said he's going to stay out there. And it's a good thing he did because that's when Savannah showed up and Annie Tomaso showed up and yeah, just let me know. I'm just the offer's on the table for now, so and I would just do what I did with it before and just hang it up on the nail that's on the living room wall. I think I should, since I was hospitalized so much, I didn't take down the Christmas cards. They're up on that wall. And every time the AC comes on now, because we've had this extraordinary heat, the air circulation knocks some of the cards off the wall. And when that happens, it kind of like scares the bunny because she thinks it's like bird wings or something. So I got to get those down before the first official baseball game. I mean, heck, they already got the Easter stuff in at CVS. And that's the last holiday stuff that they actually put out here in LA before Halloween. And I know it's only March, but I'm just telling you, when that Easter stuff comes down, they'll be clearing the shelves for Halloween. Um, any questions about Nancy Guthrie or Savannah Guthrie or the FBI or Pima County? I have 19 people watching. I've had a lot of people come in today, but only 10 thumbs up. And let's see where we are now with the dashboard, the channel count. Not really. They put out the beach stuff here, because we're on the coast. So that'll be like beach towels and suntan lotion, stuff like that. And then they squeeze it over. They actually have the Halloween stuff in the store, in the back room in June, but you usually don't see it on the shelves until sometime in July. And then they have to make sure that they move it because then they have Christmas stuff on hold. It's crazy the way stores, they're a season ahead or two. 1954. So we are 46 left. Oh my God. It won't happen today, but it's slowing down because a lot of people aren't, they don't care about this case anymore. They think it's a cold case. It's not a cold case. There's just a lot of evidence that the FBI has to go through as far as the cars, the license plate readers, the intersection cameras. They're still waiting for more DNA from Florida, but that DNA, some of the DNA that they removed from her house is mixed with other people's DNA, so it's there's too much of it in one sample, and that makes it very complicated. It could take a very long time to separate it. Um, but yeah, that deal, Kelly, won't be on the table forever because at some point my funds are just going to run out. So, but I but I know you're very happy with it. But that's the only thing that I just sometimes an old picture will pop up on my phone, or, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I gold that. Oh my gosh. You know what? I just need to get my water cup really quick because I'm supposed to be drinking constantly with this medical condition. So I'll make sure my clothes are proper. Well, perfect. It just fell right out of the refrigerator. Get my my Arrowhead water here. That's the best water ever, Arrowhead, except for Fiji water. Fiji and Evian. But this is probably number 3. This is local. $15 people watching, 11 thumbs up. So what do we think about Nancy? I've already asked you before, like, not in this video, but do people think she's with us or deceased? Everybody thinks she's deceased, but will this case be solved? Place a 1 in the chat. Oh, Jay says, me too, diabetic, try to drink at least 80. 80 ounces? Now I gotta, they asked me the other day, the kidney place called, and, the kidney office, and they're like, are you still drinking your water? And I'm like, yeah, and then the fragment still didn't come out. The one that they falsely told me that I no longer had. But I knew it was too good to be true. And they're like, oh, don't worry. If it doesn't come out, it would take another 10 years to be too big. And yeah, that's what they told me about my cataracts. Like, oh, you don't have to worry about that till your 60s. And I already couldn't see, like, by my late 40s. Oh, my God. I would just have to, like, move into the restroom for that. So, do we think that they're going to find Nancy? Yes or no? At this point, I don't even know how to answer that question. And I still don't know when Savannah is going to return to New York, or if she possibly already has. Jay says no. Hi, Sunshine Days. Welcome back. Eventually. I think eventually, but it might not be like in my lifetime that it happens. Because, the desert of Tucson is like Angeles Crest Highway. Angeles Crest Highway here in Los Angeles County is the number 1, like, body dumping ground in the country. And they find people there, like, all the time. And apparently the desert of Tucson, not a particular road, but just the desert outside of Tucson. I heard something about there was 4,000 bodies out there or something, that had been found. And I don't know over what specific period of time. And when the sheriff had the tip with the coordinates and they went out with the sniffer chopper, like, well, wonder if the pacemaker got damaged and it stopped, and wonder if she's buried. Like, if you have coordinates, don't just put the sniffer copper or chopper up there. Just like, I was trying to say copter or chopper. Don't just put the sniffer helicopter up. Go out there with your shovels and start digging, Go out there with your test equipment. Because they got a tip from somebody with exact coordinates as to where to find a body. The helicopter going over the island where Amelia Earhart spent the last days, they couldn't see people once they were above 1,000 feet. You got to have boots on the ground if you're going to search for a body. All kinds of bones in the desert. The electronic sniffer chopper is not enough if you've got coordinates. Get somebody out there. Maybe they did. Exactly. Cadaver dogs. Exactly. Because, There's a lot of wildlife movement out there, and it's already getting almost too hot for in the upcoming weeks. It'll be too hot for any of the news agencies to be out there because they won't be able to sit in their cars because they can't bring the cars into the neighborhood anymore. Like, you'd be toast in 5 minutes. The people are going to have to, that's why it's all going to disappear, because it'll be too hot to be out there. And the same thing with searching the desert. It'll be too hot. And then in the summer, you get the monsoonal season that comes up from Mexico. And now they're saying that here in LA, we're going into another El Nino pattern, and that the ocean temperature could be 80, which here is like, that's almost unheard of. It's usually like 50s to 60s. It's almost as cold as it is in like New Jersey and New York. It's very, very cold here. And now it might be 80, and they're like, that could actually put us on the edge of a hurricane up from Mexico. Like, it could actually, like what happened a few years ago, where we had the remnants of a hurricane and a tropical storm that hit the West Coast, and we had a big earthquake the same day. It was funny. But yeah, the desert is going to be, it's just rock and sand. It's not even soil. So when it rains and it's so dry, it's just like it's raining on concrete, and it doesn't soak in. And so that's why they get the monsoonal problem. And in LA, we have, because we're a desert too, we're just a big urban city on top of a desert. Palm trees don't grow here naturally. They've all been brought from other places. We have the LA River. Phoenix, or, well, Tucson, they have the underground ditches. And some of the volunteers have been searching those ditches. They're like concrete tunnels. But yeah, bring the cadaver dogs to the, somebody gave them a tip for some. It was enough to put the helicopter out there. Like, get your butt out there. Come on, nanos. Put your big girl panties on and get out there. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that case was out of control from the first day. And it's too bad, because, she could have had a chance. She might have made it. Had there actually been someone in that town who knew what the hell they were doing. They should have just called the PIs first. But, you have to call the police when there's a crime scene like that. The PIs could have solved it in a day. There's so many mistakes. Exactly. Yeah, and there's somebody here, I'm not going to name names, but there's somebody here that keeps saying that I should do a series on that. And I probably could, because I have a wealth of information on that case. I've even worked with people that have worked in Colorado that know things about that case. And that case is still unsolved. And unlike this case where, we still don't know what happened because I don't know the evidence, I've seen a lot of the evidence, and I've read the reports and the autopsies and seen the photos. And I can't do a series on that because I would implicate people, and then I would be sued. Remember, here on this station, I'm not a radio. I'm not on a radio station. I am on a YouTube channel. On my channel, we don't implicate anybody. We can all talk about, well, who do you think? And, what about this person or that person? But everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Oh, something interesting I found out too. It's probably just a coincidence, even though I'm a PI and I don't really believe in those. This Daly family, this Luke, Matt, and Mary Champion Daly, who's only a Daly by marriage, I presume. She mentioned something in her interview about calling the family in Rhode Island. And something went ding, 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 because I was born in Rhode Island. And as a baby, I lived in Southeast Connecticut. And I had two foster brothers. They were basically pretty much grown and, out of the house by the time I came along. Um, and one was Italian, many Italians in New England, and one was Irish. Daly, Daley. And this woman tells the reporter in Tucson that she had to call the family. I don't know if she meant her family, the Daly family. Maybe her and her husband met back there and then they moved out west. Who knows? But it made me think like, okay, my mom's foster kids that are still alive, even though my parents are gone. I wonder if those Dalys that are of New Hampshire and now some are in California, and I think one's in Seattle, like, wouldn't it be funny if the Dalys of Rhode Island are the same Dalys that are connected to this lady's husband? Like, wouldn't that be funny? But if I called him and be like, hey, this is, he'd be like, what? Like, I don't think he even knows that my parents are gone. So, like, I'm like, no, I don't want to go down that road. And the other one just lost a wife. So, but I thought about that. Like, hey, that's because there's 3 different ways to spell the last name Daly, but theirs is spelled the same way as one of my foster brothers, Daly, Daley. And then she mentions Rhode Island, and I just kind of put it together like, oh, wow. Huh, small world. uh, everything is alleged. Absolutely, Sunshine Days. And Rita Close says, I'm still saying family. Possibly. There's still a lot of financial questions that I have. A lot. If Savannah Guthrie could walk through this door right now, come to Los Angeles, I'll be happy to consult, and I will go down the list of this is what needs to be done. But I'm pretty sure she's got PIs working for her. I hope so. I know she has her security team that's provided by the Today Show, but hopefully she has her own as well. And the security team, that's not the same as the PIs. Those are 2 separate deals. But sometimes they can come from the same company if you have a dual PI PPO. But Rita, yeah, possible, Rita. Nobody is been eliminated. I don't care what the sheriff says. Nobody's eliminated. And the family putting up a close front, like that they're so tight that could just all be for TV. Remember, they're reading off a script. Savannah, every speech that she has made has been scripted. Absolutely, she can afford private PIs. And the sad thing is that the average person cannot. Like most of my clients with my own business are big companies or government agencies, insurance companies. I had 2 state of California clients. Like California is the 4th largest economy in the world. They can afford me. Private insurance companies can afford me. Lawyers can afford me. And private clients, celebrities. But the average person cannot. So I don't like to deal with the general public because they don't understand how things work. People think it's like television, or that we just go out and do domestic jobs. Mm-mm. I mean, I could, but I don't need to. Well, I can't do anything. Now I'm just a medical walking disaster. But people always think that. They think what they see on TV. Oh boy. Well, does anybody want to add anything to this? Is there something that happened today? Because I have not seen the news for today. I know about the car that probably is still important that Bonanno says is not important. I know about the CODIS hit on the glove from 2 miles away, but it's not connected, which I didn't think it was from the very beginning. I did want to mention the walkie-talkie and that the gun could have also been a taser. Um, and I want to plead to the public that, whoever knows the guy at the front door, and somebody does, somebody recognizes him, somebody's seeing this and they're going, uh-oh, please call 1-800 call FBI. That's 1-800 CALL FBI. There's over $1 million in cash lying on the table for you. Do the right thing. And if you're involved, turn yourself in. And be the first one, because you will be caught. Your partners will be caught. And if your partners are caught before you're caught, they're going to sing like a canary. And they're the ones that are going to cut the plea deals. So be a man. Put on your big girl panties. Turn yourself in. Get a free place to stay. Free meals for the rest of your life. And avoid the death penalty. Because your co-conspirators, they're not going to care about you once they get hooked up. The first person that gets hooked up is going to get the best deal. Trust me. I know how it works. Remember, I'm a detective for a living here. I work with law enforcement all the time. I know exactly how it works. Turn yourself in. I certainly wouldn't have answered door to that bald dude. I don't think she did. I think that the second perp came through the back. That was where the forced entry was. And the guy at the front just removed the camera. And then they unlocked the door for him, and he just walked through the door. She didn't crawl out of bed. She was taken out of her bed. How did she come down? Or not? They keep saying down the stairs, but there are no stairs except for at the front porch. She didn't wake her butt up and go to the door and open the door. She was removed from her. She was forcibly removed from her bed. So I think the person that came through the back opened the door for the person in the front. That's most likely what occurred. They didn't take her out the back and carry her all around that big property to take her to the driveway. Rita says, when the family went to the memorial yesterday, did y'all see the bird going off? No. Oh, you mean when they went out? I think it was Monday. I think it was the same day I was at the hospital. When they went out with the flowers and the card. I did not see the bird. What are you talking about? Sunshine days. Could be a low-level thug, not a pro, that's for sure. If they caught the Louvre people, they can manage this. Oh, I didn't know they caught. You mean in Paris? Yeah, let me know what you mean, Rita. I'd like to know. But even if there are great PIs working this, we still need the physical evidence that can be produced by either the sheriff's department or the FBI when it comes to like DNA and blood and LPRs and yes, okay. Wow. Oh, a bird went crazy. Oh, wow, that's interesting. That's really interesting, especially if you believe in the spirit world. Yeah, that's super interesting, Rita. Wow. Yeah, I think these people, even the guys that say we're not leaving until this is done, I think they're going to have to because they can't access their cars, and it's going to be too hot to even walk down that street in the next few weeks. The weather will change drastically quick, and that whole street will clear. The tents will come down, and the neighbors will be able to drive around without going around the traffic cones. Not the same level of security in Arizona, obviously. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, this is no high level, you know, drug cartel situation because those guys are they're they're professionals. They're there to do business. They wouldn't, make the mess that these guys have made. And people that are, that are legitimate kidnappers, they're not in the house for 40 some minutes. Somebody was looking for something, but yet the family doesn't believe that anything is missing. But Nancy's not there to look around and say what's disappeared or what hasn't disappeared. And heck, there's been so many people going in and out of that place now. Who knows what's since been, put in somebody's pocket. Maybe she has a safe in her bedroom. Maybe somebody was trying to get her to open the safe. Somebody was looking for something in that house. But they came prepared. They came prepared with tools or tarps or blankets or something to carry a body out with. They came prepared. I think the ransoms are horse crap, bull crap. And if I were in Savannah shoes, I wouldn't pay it either, unless I had proof of life. Well, we're down to 12 people and 11 thumbs up. I hope you guys are going to hit that thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed. I would love it if you guys would keep binge watching, like, Kelly's been binge watching, and Donna McCoy and Leanne Navarez and Hearts of Gold. All you guys are binge watching. Except tape to cover the ring camera. Yeah, exactly. He forgot his tape. But he remembered his tongue flashlight. Oh God. And in order to do anything inside that house, I think they would have had to take off their gloves once they were in there. And his 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 mouth wasn't covered. I mean, if he even breathed, you know, DNA. Just taking a glove off a hand, a hair could fall out. But that's a big house. It's like a 4,000 square foot house. You know, it could take 10 years to go through every little piece of dust in here in that house. You'd have to concentrate more at the front door, the back door, and the bedroom, and the path from the bedroom to the front door, and wherever the blood droplets are inside the house, which have not yet been revealed because it's a secret. But yet they've showed their cards on every other aspect of this case. So I want to know where those blood droplets were found. It'll all come out someday. It may not be solved in my lifetime, They haven't found MH370, and they still haven't caught the people who took away John Benet Ramsey. Yeah, I hadn't seen that either, Rita. The tongue light. That's crazy. It's just janky. Guy looks like a damn fool. And people are like, well, if they were so like not trained to do this, like how come they got away with it? Well, so far, but they didn't have a very good sheriff's department who was leading the case at the time to investigate it. And it's like the Three Stooges out there. It's ridiculous. I lay awake in bed at night, even as sick as I've been. I lay awake in bed at night thinking about, where's Nancy? I think somebody went in there to kill her, not to kidnap her, and they took her away somewhere and got rid of her. If it was a kidnapping, then she died quickly and they had no proof of life, and then everything went bad and then they had to dump her. So, within 24 hours of them coming in that house, I think that woman was dead and no longer with them. So I don't think she's been taken very far. It's just a matter of time. And remember, if you're involved in this, your buddies, if they get hooked up before you do, they're going to sing like a bird, and you're not going to have anything to negotiate a plea deal with. So just man up, put on your big girl panties, and get out there. And call 1-800 call FBI if you are a member of the public and you have a tip. You may receive a part of that reward. Hey, somebody send me a tip. I'll be happy to call it in. Send me the tip. Send it to my email, aprildavispi@gmail.com. If it's legit, I'll call it in for you. We can divvy up the ransom, not the ransom, the reward. Yeah, go ahead. Send it my way. Look at all the emails I'm getting on this. Jay, why do all these high-profile cases seem to have really underqualified people working the cases? Because it's hard to find good work in any field, but especially like in my field, most of the PIs are retired cops when they don't have a clue. Some of them do, but most of them are not qualified. They've worked in the military or federal agencies, or they've served their duty as a police officer, and then they try to do something that they're totally not qualified to do. And in Pima County Sheriff's Department, there was a lot of problems. There's rumors of corruption. All kinds of things went bad, and they're good, experienced detectives. They all quit. And the people that are in that unit now, they don't know what they're doing, supposedly, according to the ones that are no longer with that company. It's just like the JonBenet Ramsey case. They had narcotic detectives working a foiled kidnapping and murder. And then after that, somebody else that may or may not be connected to this case was ruled a suicide in Boulder County, and it was that person was taken out for a reason. That person was shot on the left side of the head, and a gun was found planted in a right hand. So a person, imagine this: a right hand, you're right-handed, you have a gun in your hand, and you're going to somehow go all the way over your head, and there's a pillow there too to muffle out the sound, and you're going to pull the trigger, blow your brains out, then put your arm back and make sure that the trigger guard is over your finger, but your brains are on the wall and the ceiling. Like, oh, but that person killed themselves. That was the type of detectives that handled the JonBenet case. So they may have the same type of yahoos, the same type of situation. It's very hard to keep places like that staffed. Need good instincts? Many do not. Ogie Diaz says, and collect the reward. Oh. Oh, I'm missing some of the comments. Or the Boeing whistleblower. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Brahim. Yeah, that's a good one. I had forgot about that. Yeah. Boy, and that was quick too. Wasn't that right out in the parking lot where he was getting ready to testify and they found him in his truck or something? Oh boy. Okay, well, we're only got 10 people left, 13 thumbs up. And I will check the subscriber count one more time. The most important thing, though, more than the subs is I mean, I need more subs, but what I need is the watch hour so I can reapply for that monetization. So all you guys that have already called out 3 times, keep watching. Everybody else, keep watching. Just put it on loop in the background. Thank you, Sunshine Days. That's funny you should bring that up. That's just, yeah. Mm-hmm. They must have had the same type of unqualified detectives up there. Well, let's just hope that there's somebody at Pima County that doesn't have their head completely up their ass. Excuse my language, but that's what it's been. And that the FBI, even though the scene was already compromised, that they can do something. I know a lot of cases that I've worked in the past, well, not a lot, but several that I've worked with celebrities. The LAPD or the FBI had already been brought in, and there was someone in the company that was a former CIA operative, and he used to say, "Ah, you mean the Fat Boys Institute?" Like, oh boy. Some people spend, half their career going to school, and some people are already out working cases. It's just, oh, but you have to have those degrees to work those kind of jobs. Yeah. Some of these comments are so funny. Oh, thanks for the emoji. Sunshine Days. Okay, well, I'm out of here. If you guys came in late, you can always watch it on the replay. Oh my God, 87 minutes. How am I going to do this when I've been so sick? And my nose is still like itching. As soon as I go in the air, my nose is itching. But thanks for coming. I want to keep this case alive. God bless Nancy, Ellen, Guthrie. God bless Savannah and the grandchildren especially. Let's get some closure to this. Hey, boo boo. I'm just checking out, but you can always see me on the replay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you, Rita, Brahim, everybody that's come in. Jay, uh, thank you so much. If you're still here, cuz, good night. Have a good evening. Love y'all.